Hello, guys. You're welcome to today's show. This is always an interactive solution, and we're here again to bring you what we know best to do, and that is dwelling with words, and that is exactly what we're here to do today. It's been quite unfortunate that for some weeks now we've not been able to reach you as we used to, but it's one of those things, and I think we are back now, better prepared and better packaged. And in today's show, we are looking at science and reality. Is science all about what life is? Science and life, that's what we are talking about today. The reality of the world. So our topic today is on science. Our topic today is science only, or is reality only what science can prove? Or is there more to life than science? That is what we're trying to examine today, with the mind of trying to break down some misconceptions and misunderstandings people have about certain things and certain concepts in life. Without any doubt, science is one of the greatest tools human beings have ever employed in time and space. And one beautiful thing about science is that it measures, it tests, it explains, and it reveals patterns, obviously, that have been hidden. Some things that are hidden, science tries to expose them. It tells us how babies' heartbeats even beat in the womb. Science has been able to explain to us a whole lot of things, how diseases spread and all this. Science has done marvelous. Science has also been able to tell us how the forces, certain forces that shape things around us. Science has been able to explain that. Science has also is one of the basic things about science is that it is something that can be repeated and it is verifiable. But the question today is can science, as effective and as very, very potent as it is, does it provide answers to all the questions? We have seen people who, even though people, the heartbeat, we know about our heartbeats, but we've seen that in the course of time, people have been healed just because of the humanity, the kindness of others. People have gotten over some situations in life just about the humanity and the kindness of others. These are some of the things we want to look at today. So, and today, as always, we have the guys who know how to break these things down. And they once they come in, we just start us up. We have, as always, Mr. Samuel Nnadi, and we have Onyemeri, who are always ready at any time to take on issues that many people will ordinarily want to get involved in. But we call it the way it is. If it is a square hole, we put a square peg in it. If it is a round hole, we put a round peg in it. That is what we do here on Interactive Solutions. And as much as we possibly can, we don't take anything we have prepared. We leave everything here on the floor of the studio. We drop everything in. Nothing is left in the tank at the end of the session. So today is reality or science the answer to what we face? Is reality all about science, or all about what science can prove? Or is there more to life than what science can prove? So, like I was saying before now, we have tried to, come across, we've tried so many media to be able to come across sharper and more regularly. But along the line, we just discovered that there's always, hiccups. There are always things that will always, glitches that will always come up in our effort to bring something that is not just entertaining and sharp, something that will continue, consistently and regularly. So over time, we tried to experiment with certain things, but along the line, we saw that our ability to come across or to get across to our audience were limited. These abilities were limited. So we had no option than just to, come back to what we've been doing before. And that is where we are at the moment. That is why we are coming back to you sharp and the way you used to do it some weeks before we try to experiment with certain things new. So is reality only about what science can prove? Is reality only about what science can prove? Or is there more than science? Reality and science. That's our team this time around. And we want to, as much as and as quickly as possible, try to, bring understanding, bring insight, try to walk people through the landmines and the hidden parts, all those slippery parts that knowledge and ignorance can bring about. Mr. Nadi, you're welcome.
The
Yeah, Mr. Nadi, it's always good to have you on.
Thank you,
How
sir.
have, how have you been? It's been a while now.
No, my dear.
Yeah,
We
I
are.
was trying to walk our audience through some of the hiccups we experienced along the line, but
Yeah.
our inability to come across was just our trying to experiment with certain things we thought could bring something more regular and more something more enhanced than what we used to. But along the line, we just discovered that these glitches are always, they seem to be everywhere. So we are coming back to where we have always been, and we believe that the people who have been anxiously waiting for us will graciously come across and be part of this show today. And this is one of those topics that I know that you are eager to take on, to actually prove one or two things about what science can do. But there are others who want to prove you otherwise, that science is not the answer to everything, because science cannot be all and provide all answers to all the things that life has to bring across our way. So having said that, I think while we wait for Onyem Mary, I think we just have to start. As a matter of fact, are you there, Mr. Nadi? Hello.
Let's see, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Before I think I was talking to you, but I didn't get any
Sorry,
response.
sorry. I had a phone call.
Okay.
I had a phone
So,
call.
so we want to as quickly as possible get on with the show while we wait for Onyem Mary to join us. So I think I'll have to. Are you ready? Hello, Mr. Nadi, are you ready? Hello, Sam, are you ready? I'm not hearing you. And, hello, hello, Mr. Nadi, are you there? Hello, 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 Sam, are you there? So, guys, I think it's one of those things we've been talking about, the glitches and all those things that have to do with electronics. But it is one of those things, and it is what it is. But I know that we've always overcome, and we'll overcome this one. So, the main point of this talk show today is to explain that science is not the answer to everything, every human problem. That is just the summary of what we are trying to bring across to you today. So many people have said science is the answer to everything that there is in the world. Science is the be all of everything. So, but there are some people who still are on the opposite side, maintaining that science, in as much as science has been powerful in putting the torchlight into darkness. Science has been able to, put us across, put narrow the distance between people, even while they are miles and miles separated. Science has done that. but does it answer all the questions that reality has to bring? Mr. Nadi, are you there? So that is where we are at the moment. I'm trying to bring Mr. Nadi in again. Mr. Nadi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now, because the other time I was talking to you, but I didn't get responses.
Yeah, I had a call and I was responding to that call, and it seems like it affected literally everything.
Okay.
Mm.
So I was just trying to walk our audience through what the topic is all about today. And the topic is all about, science versus reality. But I think science itself is part
Okay.
of reality.
That's it. Can you do me a favor? Can you do me just one favor? Would
What
you
is
be
it?
able to share a link with Ibrahim, because he want to join us?
Okay.
Ibrahim.
Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham.
Yes, Ibrahim, AJ, Daniel Ibrahim, AJ.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure he accepted my my request.
No, just send him the link to this. Send him link to. Just write his name and send him a link from.
I'm telling you, I'm not. If I'm not his friend, then there's no way I can send him a link.
Oh, Jesus Christ! So what do we do now? Okay.
That's the thing. I'll send the link to you so you can send it to him. Is it possible for you to send it to him?
I'll send it on my messenger.
Yeah, I'm sending it to your messenger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send it to my messenger.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time to upgrade and buy a new cool bus.
What about Onyemeri? What about Onyemeri?
Yeah, Onyemeri will be joining soon. I just want to sort this one out so that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Save.
And now you've already saved it up for a bus made of gold blocks. That's awesome. All right, hand over the money, and this bus is yours. Oh, wow, JJ, this is so exciting. That's such a huge amount of money. I still can't believe we managed to save it. Honestly, I was a little nervous spending so much at once, but now that this bus is ours, I'm just super happy. Look at how cool it is.
Have you sent it?
Myself.
I'm here. I'm trying
Have you
to
sent it? I'll send it. Send it to my this so I can send it to him.
Yeah, I will send it
Not
to
on
you.
this. Not on this Facebook. My other Facebook, because that other one, I don't know why. That other one, I don't know why it's not. It's not. It's not permitting me to come live.
I'm not even seeing you here now. I don't know why.
You're not seeing me.
I'm not seeing you in the.
Looks like a passenger.
In the.
Business suit. Did you see that? And it looks like he's offering.
Anyway.
I'm not seeing you in my.
I urgently need to get to work.
In my.
Bus. Oh, I think of the whole villager.
Yeah, what?
In my record of in my contact.
Oh, I don't know how else. How else do we send this guy this link?
I don't know.
Stop. You violated traffic rules. Did you even see the speed limit here? It's 40. You won't be going.
Okay, I'll tell Onyemeri to send it to you. I've sent it to Onyemeri. I'm seeing Onyemeri, but I don't know why you are not showing here.
Hold on, let me do one thing. How do I do this thing? Okay, let me do it. Let me share it with this. Let me see if you can see it from here. Okay, this way. Then. Okay. Can I see it here? This thing, everything just changed.
Yeah, everything changed on Facebook. I don't know why.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, just
now I'm trying to see this life. I can't even see it.
yeah.
I can't see the live because I was gonna send it to the guy, but I can't see it myself.
I'm surprised because it's like you just came on and then it's locked you down here.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
this is okay. Hold on, hold on. Let me. I can share it here. Okay, let me
okay.
share it to him. I'll share it to him.
Okay.
Mm. So we can crack on now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Zerubbabel Zadok, it's good to have you here.
Oh, you just shared the live. You didn't share the whole stuff. Let me try from here and see. Okay. All right, Mr. T, let's crack on while we're waiting.
Yeah,
Because we are we
like I
are we
said,
are, we are itching
like I
on
said,
towards our time now, isn't it?
yeah, we've tried to like I was trying to, you know, update our audience. I will try to experiment with so many things that have kept the audience outside what we
Mm.
are doing, out of what we are doing. So we are coming back to what
Mm-hmm.
we know best to do. And I just want us to start immediately while we wait for Edge to come on and then possibly Onyemere to join us. And
Okay.
like the topic you know well is reality only what science can prove, or is there more? Is there more to life than science? So I just want to start with you, and to my first question to you will actually be, what do we mean when we are talking about if something is real? What does it actually mean? If we are saying something is real,
Well, the T. It depends on who you are asking.
yeah, I'm
Depends on who
asking.
you're asking. Yeah, Daniel is he sent the message. I can see his message on
Yeah, I
the
saw his
already.
message.
All right, yeah, I think you can add him now. So it depends on who you are asking. If
I'm
you're,
not able to add him.
huh?
Ask Daniel to join the live broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, you can go on now. I'm adding him.
Yeah. So, just like I said, it depends on who you are asking.
Hello,
This.
Mr. Eja, you are welcome.
Oh,
Daniel, you're welcome.
Danny.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Good
brother.
evening,
I,
everyone.
I, I really wanted you to be here today because the
Yeah,
topic we are
Yeah,
discussing is something that we need a bit more. We need somebody who's got a little bit of experience and
yes,
somebody who is a bit more informed. We,
yeah.
yes.
we'll be expecting some what do you call them? What do you call some devoted Christian
We're
Yes,
who's going to
expecting.
they
join us.
are welcome.
And we're not here to debate. We are here to challenge our ignorance. And
Absolutely.
I'm always open enough for people to highlight where I'm not getting it right. I would just want us to have
Mm-hmm.
that conversation. I want us to converse and put the
Yeah,
perspective all together and see
yeah,
what and actually be able to segregate facts from fictions.
absolutely.
Yes. So
Mr.
so the
Oh,
thing.
Nadi, Mr.
Uh-huh.
Nadi, I just Daniel is good to have you on today, and then just like he said, this we've expected you, and then here you are, and it's good to have you on. And as we go on,
oh,
I know that you have the stuff to try to validate certain things, and at the same time, walk us through certain minefields of ignorance. So we are still
oh, thank
expecting
you
the
so much.
third leg. What?
I say thank you so much. I'm privileged to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you. We also expecting one of us, the third leg or the fourth leg now in this whole arrangement. And as soon as it comes in, we know that the set is set. So, but as it is now, we can start kicking, and we start kicking legs and start kicking off, whichever way it is, with two of you guys. So I've already thrown a question at you, Mr. Nadi. When we are talking about reality, what does it actually mean?
Well, the thing, like I was about saying, It depends on who you are asking, and this point of what is actually real has always been an existence argument. It has been something that have we have stretched over centuries. If we look back from the ages of Plato, Plato as a person who is an idealist, somebody who claimed that what is real is what we make of what is real. The
Yeah.
consciousness, our description, our definition of what it means for something to be real. He maintained that this idealism is the concept of even the spiritualism that we, or even mentalism that a lot of us are even practicing today. People assume that your perception of things is what defines if those things is real. And giving your instances, the only reason why according to Plato, his perspective of what ideal is, what realism means, what means something to be real. That the only reason why we can call trees a tree is because we have been some kind of inducted to to accept that this is trees. Otherwise, so it means more or less like it is what we perceive. Our perspective of life is what makes it real. But on the other hand, you have one of his students, who Aristotle disagreed with him, and the concept of Aristotle is what brought about science. The science where it's proposed that what is real exists even without our conscience, without us, whether we know it or not, whether we accept, whether we see it as a perspective or not, it's still real, and that is what generated into what we see today as science, which science observes, predict or test the law, natural law, where the kind of uh, propose that the law remains the same regardless of how you react to it. The gravity never changes. If a man comes from China or come from Africa or come everywhere around the world, it remains the gravity never changes. It doesn't depend on your perspective of what reality is. Reality remains reality. And like I said, there are lots and lots of different arguments, but all of this are clustered towards this basic foundation where people assume that from the realism assume that what is real has needs to be some sort of subjective. It needs to be acceptable. It needs to be the same every time, regardless of who is looking at it. On the other side, the idealism, which is more like what we relate today as Christians, where we believe that it is your belief, it is what you think, it's what your perspective of everything, that is what defines if those things that you are seeing is real or not. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nadi. Thank you very much. Realism and idealism, that's what we're talking about. On one side is science, on one side is religion and
theology and the belief system,
religion,
thoughts.
theology, and the rest.
Where they believe that it's all about your perspective of the whole thing. That is what defines what is real. And science on its own did not actually rule all of these things out. But I will explain that during the course of the podcast. The way the science interpret those things. Science interpreted it in a different angle, not from the angle that because you perceive it, it becomes real. So we'll go there. We got there when we're I'll leave it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Abraham. I come to you now with this question about. Obviously, it's like you are on the same platform or the same school of thought with Mr. Nadi that science is the be all. Science explains everything. And he brought in
Yeah.
this understanding of realism and idealism into the whole
Mm.
conversation. Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
ask you. Yeah, I just want to know if you think that science science explains everything, because somebody, while we were just trying to walk through this, I was going through some stuff, and science is said to be one of the most powerful tools ever known to humanity. I don't know if you
Absolutely.
share, if you buy into this, because I know that
Yeah.
there are also on the other side people who believe that in all things you do, in all the things you do, there are still that extraterrestrial being that controls every other thing. So if you believe that science is the answer to everything, how come that there's still this argument or this doubt about a being that is outside the control of time and space, that has control of everything that we assume to be real?
Yes. Like I said earlier, good evening, everyone. It's a great privilege to be here. Like he said, when we talk about idealism or real or facts,
Yeah.
it's very important to look at it. I'm a humanist, and some of us have evolved. When I mean evolved, we have seen the side of either theology or spirituality, you may call it, and we have come to a conclusion by virtue of observation, experience, and facts and tests that
Yeah.
the concept of something out there, like you said, controlling the physical, or like we are some robots or like some puppets, doesn't exist. Rather, it is the other way around. And like I said, I agree with my distinguished Nnamdi, because it is very obvious, very, very obvious in everything we do. Of course, for science, what makes me fall in love with science is their ability to accept that we don't know yet. They are open to learning, open to growth, open to studying, rather than just coming to a conclusion. So science keeps evolving, and that is the whole essence of life. When we keep learning, keep growing. But if you look at the religious aspects, it's cocky, it's formed, it's on a point where they have concluded. And if you examine what they have for us as their conclusion, it doesn't hold water. It doesn't stand the test of time. Science and human beings have proven that all of the whatever experience, whatever theory, the Jesus, the God, or whatever concept has put to humanity, humanity has proven to it that it is not real. And when we look at all of that, for me, we have to begin to evolve. We have to begin to, like even new Christians, some of us have been in that system. And I tell people, if you read your Bible very well, if you're a good student of your Bible, you will live the Bible. And that's the truth. If you're a good student of your Bible, you will live the Bible. There's a portion of the Bible that says that strong meat are for those that have been able to use their mind to discern good from evil. So the peak of maturity in Christianity is the usage of the mind, the usage of the mind. So when we come to that point where we can practically use our brain, practically engage our mind, that is the peak of maturity. So for me, I stand with my distinguished brother, and I will keep singing it loud to the ends of the earth that the physical controls it all, and we must wake up to that reality. You know, when I, like today, I went to church, and for the first time after many years, like 6 years or so, and they were praying for power, you know, praying for NEPA, what we call the electricity here. You know, when I heard that prayer point, I was laughing. How do you pray for God to give you power? It doesn't work anywhere. So these are realities. When whatever you profess, whatever you claim, when you come face to face with this reality, this fact, man, it won't hold water. You just see how vulnerable you are. I think I leave it there for now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've been able to go through your bio, and I wouldn't say that I'm surprised at what you're pushing out there, because coming from your background and obviously from maybe some of the things that you went through, you could have forcefully come to this conclusion that there's nothing out there
Forcefully.
different. Yeah, forcefully, yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Ibrahim, let me object a bit.
Wait, I am moderating. I am moderating.
I am just a pinch. Yeah. I want to pinch you.
Yeah.
The co-host, the host himself.
Yeah.
I want you to see him from the other side, because it's not one of us.
No, just allow me to make up my mind about what I'm saying and what I'm saying. I just want to be guided by what I'm seeing and what I'm saying. So thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion, though. I thank you for the suggestion. And from the comments, I see there are so many people who are already rooting for you. Onyemere, I have tried to bring you in on several occasions, and then I think you need to do a little bit shift, and then you need to come in for this session, because it's like there's fire on the mountain, and then we really need to challenge certain. Yeah, we really need to challenge certain things that are coming out across this evening. So, having said that, Mr. Nnadi, I just want to ask you this question, possibly before Onyemere comes in.
Oh, are you asking me, the T?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Now, are there aspects of human experience and activity that science can never fully explain? Don't you think that there are aspects of human existence that science can never fully explain?
Well, thanks for that question, the T. And this is where it's even get a bit tangled. And this is exactly where this religion, it take hostage. This is where they take hostage, where they assume that random objects becomes an experiment for them to exploit or extort people. And I'll give you facts. And the science themselves, in fact, modern cosmologists, I mean, all the modern cosmologists all agree, they all accepted that what the scientists themselves have been able to exploit in the human atmosphere, they were able to, what is actually visible for us to experiment on is just 5%. 5%. The dark energy contains about 60-something%. I think it's 68%. And so people who are science students will attest to what I'm trying to explain. And the dark matter.
Onyemere is here now. Onyemere, it's good to have you here now. I think this talk show will be a little bit balanced.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, yeah. Onyemere, we have with us Mr. Abraham, formerly Reverend or Pastor Abraham. He's here.
No.
So and then the normal cat.
Good evening, Pastor Abraham, and good evening, brother.
Yeah, good evening, my brother, man.
I said before. I don't know about now. I said before.
Is he from Africa or Caribbean? I just want to know. Or African American?
He's Nigerian. He's Nigerian.
Nigerian, okay. Gone. I'm a black man. I'm in Nigeria.
Okay. So Abraham, we have with us Onyemere. He has been one of us. Onyemere Chedozie, he's been one of us. So, Mr. Nnadi, you can crack on now.
So the point I'm trying to make in all of these things is that science themselves they have not in any way claimed this all-knowing, all aware. I think the concept of science on its own is not even about knowing. If you know you can't be a scientist. Scientist is
Yes.
about doubting. What have you doubted? What, not just believing, not just because this man says it, because it's a concept from Socrates, or it's a concept from Plato. Nobody should argue, nobody should debate, nobody should challenge it. So the science on its own only explain what is visible to them. And they have also opened the argument and opened that argument that those things that are not explainable are also a subject of experiment. And I'll give you instances of what I'm trying to explain. You know, before now, we all believe before Garali explained the concept of the cosmology and all of that. People used to believe that the world on its own, the Earth on its own, is static. Until Garali and the rest of all them so explain the concept of how the Earth spins around the sun. And we now know that this world, this Earth that we assume that was static, is even running faster. I think how many percent? I think it runs about 38 or 39% faster than a bullet. This world that we sit on and we think is stable, it's not moving. But with what Garani was able to experiment, we are able to see that this world is spinning. That is the concept of the spinning world. And so forth and so on. We have got experiments of different things that science, because of this, their curiosity, because of this, their eagerness to question what is in existence or what has been in existence, they were able to find. And my point in all of this is that the science on its own is not claiming to know anything. Science is only opening the conversation, just like we are here, Mr. T.
Yeah.
Science is opening the conversation for everybody to be part of that conversation, for every curious mind, for our mind to be curious, or for our mind to question what is assumed that has happened yesterday, to even question the present reality, the present idealism and suspicions of what is happening today. So, to leave it there.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll leave it there. Let me not go to a bit
Abraham.
more.
Abraham.
Yes, I'm with you.
Do you believe in miracles?
I don't even believe in belief, so there's no miracle.
You don't believe in what? Belief?
I don't even believe in belief. So the concept of belief alone is even an error for humanity. So there's no miracle.
So what do you ascribe to? What gives you vibes anytime you wake up? I mean, somebody will wake up and say, I believe I'm going to achieve this. I believe I'm even in science. So what are the things that guide your cosmology? What are the things that guide your understanding of the things you find around you?
Yeah, of course, I have personal motivation, which is drawn from my life, you know, either my past, of course, my past, and what I have seen, and what I hope to see. But when I mean belief is the concept, whatever that has been built around it, for me, doesn't really help us to live a better life. So that's why I said I don't even believe in belief. So when you said, do I even believe in miracle? Those two words for me, I daily confront them, like what my brother said, because one thing humanity has been able to achieve is to stir curiosity, the ability not to crystallize. You just want to know. You just want to know, and that's one thing I love, in this phase of my life. So what has kept me going is humanity. When I wake up, I think it, I talk it, and like since morning, that's what I keep doing. So I could maybe, I think I'll prefer to use the word hope than the word believe.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
bro.
Oh yeah, Mary, I come your way now because there have been conversations before you
Yeah.
came in, and that is about the all powerfulness of science, the ability of science to, you know, to explain, to reveal patterns, to measure, to test, and even to create things out of what is already in creation. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you, are there limits to what science can really measure or explain?
There are many limits to what science can explain, and if I should talk about, because I'm just okay, I'm just trying to get some things ready. Is real the question? Let's stay on the question: is reality only what science can prove? No.
Yeah.
Is there more to life than what science can prove? Yes. I stand on that side because there are lots of things that science cannot prove in life. Because when we're talking about science, what are we honestly referring to? It was just 16, 15, couple of centuries ago. Life has been in existence before science came into life. Science came in, and science has made a law of discovery, and that is acknowledgeable. It has made a law of discovery, but we've lived our life even in a scientific way before these gentlemen started. All of them started coming into 18, 16, 15, 16th century, 19th century, 20th century to this time to find out about a couple of things that can enhance life. I do acknowledge that. But to say that life is all about what is measurable, what is observable, what is testable, what is quantifiable, and what is material is in itself unstable. So we have to be talking as sane humans living in a sane society, because society may not be completely sane, but as human, even human to a large extent, but as humans who have the faculty of critical thinking, we have to be reversing to the fact that there are more to life than what science can prove. For example, even until today, I just single out one, but I'm going to be talking a lot about all the things because we look at it from the perspective of I have always talked about love, but it's the guy who thinks he's a proponent of science by always thinking that, oh, science is spread out everywhere, and one of the most falsifiable statement of science is that if it cannot be tested, if it cannot be proven, it doesn't exist. And if it cannot be measured, if it cannot be tested, if it cannot be proven, if it cannot be observed, it doesn't exist. That's an absolute out of context statement. And that statement is even a philosophical statement. What am I talking about? Let's look at love. There's no scientific meter that is attached to how much somebody loves somebody. The only thing you can see from somebody saying that I love somebody is the action, but you can never see the quantity because of the belief of science in the quantity. This is that subjective area that science, we have subjective area and a lot of questions that science don't even answer. Science talks about what happens, talks about in some situations what happens, but science never talks about what should happen. Science answers a lot of questions about how this happens, how this, and these are honorable in its context. But science has never been good in answering the why question, why this thing happens, and not just about saying that this thing happens well, because I acknowledge this scientific evolution and then all their findings, but there are much more to life. There's no meter. You cannot measure love. Love is not measurable. And if you begin to observe love according to scientific argument, love is not physical. Love is not something you can see, but love has taken us this far into life. And if you want to test love, there's no physical attribute. You cannot see what. There's no way you can test love. You can only design. You can only think about what you can test. But the consciousness of love, even when somebody says, even when somebody says, and that is why love is a mystery. Even when somebody says, I love you, the person you cannot even quantify how many percentage the person loves, but you can see the action of love, exceeding loyalty and trying to make sacrifice. These are outward sacrifice, trying to make sacrifices for one, and even surrendering the entire life, one's entire life to another person. Imagine a whole lawyer, imagine a whole medical doctor being born into a family, but if at a certain point in life, the medical doctor or lawyer, as a woman, will wholeheartedly surrender her name and surrender her own things to somebody, all because they want to exchange love. And if you look at love in that sense, science can only predict, but science can never prove. Nobody can ever prove the amount of love one has for somebody. And again, we come to the area of law, and I mentioned it. I have several examples to give. We come to the area of law. When we hear that somebody kills somebody, there's a killing in the court. Nobody sees the moral wrongness of the killing. You can never see the moral wrongness. The only thing everybody sees is the action of killing. But it is an absolute truth. It is a reality that the whole society all over the world accepts, that killing somebody is a moral wrongness. It is something wrong. It is acceptable. It is a reality. It exists. And that is the basis of the law. That's the basis of the court. And that's the basis of the entire civilization. Do not kill. And once you kill, almost all the cultures accept that killing is wrong. And that's a reality that science cannot quantify. So there are several of them out there, that because I'm talking from the point of view that there are more to life than
And
what
science
science
can
can do.
explain.
Yeah,
Thank you very
science,
much.
science has done a lot. Science has done a lot, but the only thing that science talks about, because all of those guys that came, Newton, all of those guys, in the 16th, 15th century, they came in with this idea of um, observation. You observe, then you have a hypothesis. You have a hypothesis. This is a process, and then after having the hypothesis, then you test the hypothesis, and after testing the hypothesis, then you make prediction. You conclude, and that's where they normally have problem in the conclusion. And once they conclude, even though they sometimes they claim that they are open to learning, that's what they normally say, that they're open to learning. But on the other hand, they're not open to learning, because they always say that science is superior, science is everything. So when you open up, I always tell them, open up, guys. Let's discuss. Let's have a critical thinking in action. When you open
Thank you
up,
very much, Onyemere. That's the
yeah,
critical thinking and
yeah,
discussion we're having now.
yeah.
And
When you open up, you will see that science just came in the other day. It's just like saying that whatever the ruler, ruler we have in the primary and secondary school when we're going to school, you say that everything that the ruler measures exists. It's only the object that is measured by the ruler that exists. That is in itself a defeated statement and a defeated argument. So we're going to be looking
thank
at
you.
it from the perspective of something open out there. The reality, there are more realities to science than what there are more reality to life than what science can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Onyemere. That was I think I want to subscribe to that. That there are more things out there that science cannot really give us, the roadmap into how we solve that. And that brings me to this question, Mr. Nadi. When you talk about science, being, the be all of it and explains all of it, you know, how do we, why do humans continue, to search for such, such things like emotional stability, happiness, joy, fulfillment, purpose in life in a world that is heavily scientifically, um, colored? Still, humans science has not been able to give us a roadmap into
Th-
finding
Thank you. Thank
joy.
you, thank you, T. Thank you. And I just wanted to, stay a little bit point from what my brother Mary said, and just to clarify, because I think there is a little bit of, you know, mix up in the conversation. When scientists or science on its own doesn't claim that they know it all. In fact, the concept of science is actually not knowing. Not science does not mean knowing. If you know, like as I mentioned that before, if you know, you're not a scientist. You have nothing to do with science. It's religion that promotes this ideology, that this concept of accepting without questioning. The concept of science is actually questioning even what is real, what you can see, what is acceptable. You still question it. That is the concept of science. And to relate it to what we are discussing, I think there is that mix-up is the mix-up of what we see as a subjective reality. There is subjective reality. Subjective reality. The subjective reality is what Oyemere is talking about. Your feelings about things, your
And
emotions
science
about.
has no explanation over that.
There
No,
is
no,
no
no,
way.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
I'm
no,
coming.
no, no,
I'm
no.
coming.
I'm
I'm
not
coming.
talking about.
I'm
I was
coming.
clear, but I'm going to come in.
I'm
Yeah.
coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. So, subjective reality. Let me explain what subjective reality is. Subjective reality is what you feel, and what a person feel cannot be a fact. What you feel cannot be a fact. You may be wrong in your feelings. Can you? Can't you? I may feel that I'm the president of the world. Am I the president of the world? I
No.
may be angry over somebody who have not offended me, and maybe the person did not offend me, but I feel it. So you cannot observe something that does not. Sit down. That you cannot observe something that does not have a pattern. You cannot observe something that doesn't have a trend that you can use. That you say within yourself, you feel about love. You feel that you love somebody, and that feeling becomes the feeling. It becomes what do I call it? A preposition that you can use as an argument, not a swinging conversation where you love the person tomorrow and then tomorrow you don't anymore. So these are subjective realism, and science is not totally taking that away. Science have got mechanisms that can predict based on observations, based on those observations. But there is no way there's no way, there's no theory, there's no way you can observe something that is not stable. There is no way you can not observe it. So there is subjective reality, and there is objective reality, which science depends on. And how that actually play out is when you have something that remains the same, or it's objective, it doesn't change. So relate that with what I've just said before. Subjective that changes based on emotion. A man can be in love today and he hate the other person tomorrow. But when you say you love this person, with any time, like the law of gravity, like the what do you call it, the law of gravity, whenever you throw something to the sky, it comes down regardless of who is throwing it. When you mix oxygen to fuel and what's the other one, and what produces light. So so when you mix these three things together, it produces light. That whenever you do these things, it's the same thing. It doesn't change. So this is what is observable. This is what you can experiment, not emotion. That you can be happy in the morning and you're sad in the afternoon. These are subjective. And there is the other one they call intersubjective, which is part of it, what Mary just mentioned. Intersubjective is when we all have our subjective reality. I believe that if I dance, everybody is happy. Then we all congregate all this our subjective reality together and make it one reality. That is where we have law. That is where we have currency. That is where we have marriages that we all agree that this is our collective subjectiveness reality. We all think that these things works with me, something we have in common.
Yeah.
So
I'm listening.
I'm coming in. So let's put it into context. Let me bring it back to the question you asked me, and that makes even this question you asked me even more interesting, because when we ask ourselves, why do people, why do, with all this scientific improvement in life, why people still not happy? The question you ask yourself is this. The bigger question would be, why would somebody see the same thing? I mean, let me give you an instance. Somebody may come to a railway station that is, it's a subway or whatever you want to call it, that is well, tidied and clean. And one person will look at it and preserve it and make it look neater and not start making a mess in that railway station or substation. Another person will come, different person will come and make a mess of everything. And I'll give you more of instances to that if you want me to give you more time. Like you see somebody
don't have much time.
You don't have more time. So what that actually means, is that this subjectiveness, these people's subjectiveness, these people's view of life, the way they see life, when they are not seeing it, that actually nullifies the argument that actually challenges even more the argument that subjective reality is a wrong reality. Because it is subjective reality that makes people, even when there is reasons, when there is reasons to do the right thing, but because your own emotion, your own feeling, the way you see, the lens that you see things, rather than the lens that everybody should see it. You understand? It becomes subtle to your own selfish or individual emotions, or individual's feelings, rather than what is subjective, what is objective, what remains the same, what doesn't change. That is the reason why a lot of people, even with all these innovations in science, people are still committing suicide. In the UK, if you go back to the statistics, and I will give you this one for the last. 80%, 90% of those who commit suicide in the UK commit that because of their mental health situation. And when you even investigate further, why do people generate mental health problems? Most of it is when their subjective expectations, when what they think about themselves, when they think less about themselves, that is what ignites, that is what propels that mental health depreciation, your mental health. You start thinking less about yourself. So it's when that expectation, you haven't gotten to that, your expectations, is start affecting your ability to propel or to be more active or to be more pro to life. So
Okay.
I'll leave it there. I don't want to go too far.
Thank you very much.
Can I come in?
No. I'll come to you. You can have your time when you have your time here. Abraham, I come to you now.
Yes, I'm enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, because like I said, I looked through your bio and I saw so many things interesting, and I'm really, not just, I wouldn't say that I'm surprised, because
No,
probably where you're coming from,
you shouldn't.
your background is giving rise to your present position. So all the while you were I don't know the word to use. All the while you were in the kingdom,
Yes.
you were preaching the word of God. Was it based on what you were told, or were you convinced about what you were teaching us at that time?
Okay. Thank you so much. Like we all said, great work, and of course, I was convinced. For a chap that started preaching from the age of 9, 10, especially like Assemblies of God that used to build them young. He started reading the Bible, praying in tongues, and all of that. We all are. If you look at how life works, we are basically a product of our environment, where you're born, what happen around you. And if I was born in Asia, maybe I may have a different upbringing, or maybe born in one of these Arab countries. But I was born in Africa, a religious place where Christianity dominates, and so I was a Christian. And beside that, even in that course, I started developing myself. I want to know. If you tell me God loves me, like we said earlier, I want to experience it. I don't just want somebody telling me. If you tell me there's a father up there that loves me, I was sharing with a Christian last week, and I said it was even the knowledge of the Bible that made me to leave Christianity, truly. And I shared with him about the common our Lord's Prayer, our Father who art in heaven. And when I look at that, I saw a father for a relationship. I wanted relationship. I wanted friendship, and I couldn't have it. It was just a fiction, a myth. You just have to think, you just have to believe. And I said, no, I can't continue like that. It's self-illusion. So for me, I was deep in it. And one thing, when people talk, they'll say, your encounter was not real and all of that, I laugh at them. Some of us had all kinds of encounters. We tell you about how, the Lord came to us either in the dream of the night, all kinds of encounters, or maybe by reading the Bible. And I tell them, this thing can happen anywhere. It's just like when you watch movies or watch a particular movie or read a particular book, and you are saturated with that story, you begin to have interface with them either in your dream world or maybe even in your physical world. So these things are real. These things happen, but they are not real. But what has happened to me now is my ability to sit down curiously and critically look at these things. Are these things really, really true? And when my brother was talking about people committing suicide, these are the things that have really led to people committing suicide. When people get a hype, get this level of hope, expectation, and they get there, it's literally empty. I remember as a young person, we were told about, millennium goal. If you're in Nigeria, and they'll tell you Vision 2020. As a young chap, I was looking forward to that Vision 2020. And when I got to 2020, it was as if 2020 was still ahead. That alone has a way of thwarting, expectation and making people to begin to not to begin to believe in their country anymore. So that's what happened. When you study the Bible and you look at the teachings of either God or Jesus or the sayings of the Holy Spirit, and you get there, you literally saw nothing. It's empty. At that point, it will be self-deception to continue in such. And that's why for me, talking about science and all of that, like I said, I'm a humanist. I'm not a scientist, but I relate more with science, and that's why I'm more comfortable when we talk about science, because like my distinguished Nandi said, science is not even built on knowledge. It's not even built on knowing, like I know this, or I have known this, or I have arrived. Science is even built on can we experiment this? What can we do out of this? So it is all about curiosity. It's all about teamwork. But when you look at the church cycle, either Islam and all of that, somebody just give you some ancient manual that you must not question, and they tell you that is the word of God, and God said this, God said that. And when you begin to review this, human beings wrote these things, human beings inspired them and all of that. So for me, these are the things that made me to exit religion or Christianity. So it's not like my expectations were not met. At least before I left, I was doing 5 services. I was living in a very comfortable house. I had people helping me up and down, and everybody will feel comfortable, like, oh, man of God. But I said, no, it's not life. It's just illusion. And for me, like I said earlier, self-deception is the worst form of deception. So I saw for myself that these things are not real, and I had to walk out of them. So I think that is that.
If it is deception, what of the people who you deceived in quote? The many people.
Yes, and that's why. And that's why, like you said, you went through my war. I daily spend my time, my life telling people, man, we are all scam. I was a victim. We are all victims. We are all victims. And telling my co-victim, somebody told me, why didn't you change your name? I said, look, I have to leave that name because I'm a victim. They gave me a tag, a wrong identity, and I had to keep it. it will keep me in remembrance of where I'm coming from, and to tell me that, boy, you were once slave, you were once colonized. When I mean colonized, not just the physical colonization, mental colonization. So for me, I spend time to talk about religion, and sometimes I go with, I've lost a whole lot of friends, family members, and it doesn't really bother me, because I stand by the truth, and whatever it is, and that's why I'm still open to learning. Like, if I tell you this thing is not real, let's critically look at it, rather than coming to insult me or telling me, oh, you are not really born again, you never had an encounter with Jesus and all of that. Let's sit down and decode and look at it together. At the end of the day, whatever it is, let it win. And that's the kind of life I love to live. So for me, I'm more comfortable with science, and which of course is humanity. And that's why, if you look at my hashtag, it's humanity first. Humanity first. So, and it's built on curiosity, built on critical thinking. And when the other brother was talking about critical thinking and all of that, I feel so happy when Christians begin to talk about critical thinking. But when they get to their Bible, they get stuck. They don't think anymore. That's my problem. When I see somebody like a medical doctor, an engineer telling me he's a Christian, I'm like, wow, how did you become a Christian? Because with all of what you studied, and you get stuck in your Bible, you have to believe that somebody's coming, somebody took away your sins, and somebody is coming, and there's hellfire, there's heaven. How do you even add all of that together? So for me, I wrote one time and I said, no Christian think critically, and I still stand by that word, because it's really very impossible for a Christian to think or use his mind. Because even like the Bible said, the just shall live by faith, and as many that are led by the Spirit, they are the sons of God. So you can't really be a Christian and use your mind. And that's what has really brought humanity backward. So let me not go here and there. But to be honest with you, you want to say something?
No. I just wanted you to round off.
Okay. So in a nutshell, like we all said, for me, where we are now is the best phase of life. And where I was really a phase that, of course, brought me to where I am, which when I meet folks, I told some folks one time, I hate your belief. I don't hate the believer. I don't hate you. I don't even have capacity to hate. But for me, I wish we all begin to come to a point where we begin to use our mind. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Abraham. That was a very
Hello there. Hello
eloquent.
there.
Yeah, I'm coming to you, Onyemeri.
Yeah, I can see the scientists are chasing me, but I can stand them. No problem.
Nobody's chasing you. Nobody's chasing you. Onyemeri, my question to you now is this.
Yeah.
Do you think that science and technology they have changed the way we define truth and reality?
Well, anyway, we're still on it. We're still on it. And I want us, the question is whether science and technology has changed the way we define truth and reality.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming there now, but I have to mention things. So we are still on there, and we just don't want misleading people out there, because we are talking based on what the limited thing we know. What I'm saying here, brother, is this. I have never said that love is about feelings. What I said here, and everybody heard, is that there's no amount of scientific proof that can show how much somebody loves somebody. Isn't it what I said? And that is reality. It's not even that. That is reality. And science, because science believes that everything has to be measurable. That's the main concept of science. Whether we go to north or south or east or west, the major concept of science is that it has to be measured, it has to be tested, it has to be repeated, it has to be replicated, it has to be observed. And I said, you cannot observe love, and I'm still on it. I didn't put it in terms of feelings. Feelings in relation to love is an entirely different thing. But I'm just saying that you can never test love. And I still stand that there are far more, my stand is that there are far more to life and reality than what science can prove. I still stay on that statement. Science has done a lot. Science has done more than enough. But I'm just still saying that science started just the other day. Science is a sort of disruption. And there's no way, if you have the benefits and non-benefits of something, there's no way the disruption can claim that I am entirely correct. Just like when the COVID-19 came and said we have COVID, and the whole world saw what happened, how manipulative science could be. So our brother mentioned, I just want some time to address some context. Our pastor mentioned that no Christian
I'm not sure he would want to be called a pastor anymore. I'm not sure.
Okay. So what is his name? What is his name?
Abraham.
Okay, Abraham. I might be wrong. I think I saw something like you're carrying Rasta. I might be wrong, but if you're carrying Rasta, I want to say something. I want to say something because Rasta is also a religion that science cannot explain. Rastafarian's religion trumps science, and many people carry that dreadlock without even knowing what they symbolize. They just go and carry and platter and all of those things. So you are also.
No. May I?
I'm coming.
Reply
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming. I'm just saying some people can go to a hairstylist and say, "Give me this style." It's allowed, but I have to debunk that. No Christian think critically. That's not fact. That's a little bit of outside the context of fact. But do you remember that in 1 John chapter 4, it was critical thinking that motivated that statement. Test every spirit to know the spirit you're watching. We were given that authority to test the spirit. It's not just about going to church. But you see, most people are brainwashed because of lack of education. Education is also good for you to be asking that question. People normally, if you go to different places, there is always a question time. Ask this question. If you have something on a personal experience level, you can do what you want by exploring and trying to find out more. Bible has given us that authority to test the spirit we're serving. So, but if we look at the other side of it, when we say that we cannot, there's no way. Our brother also mentioned that there's no way you can observe something that is so subjective. No, the subjective feeling is real because we say that we have relationship, we have love, we have beauty, we have art, we have moral value, and we have different other things that are real. It's not just about science that is completely real. So what we're saying here is that because there are far more things to life than what science can prove, science always runs away from those aspects of questions. Why are we here on earth? Science will never give you any related, any even critical thinking thoughts about what happens after death. Science will always continue to speculate. But the thing is, and I also said that there is no amount of measurement you can put on the moral wrongness of killing. When somebody kills somebody, I saw what our brother is saying now. When somebody kills somebody, brother Gava, just pay a little bit of attention, please. When somebody kills somebody, it is totally accepted that it is morally wrong. It is a reality all over the culture across the globe. It is completely wrong. It's a reality. And when we talk about something that science cannot prove, they exist all over the places. So when you go to court, the judgment is not pronounced or concluded by scientific evolution or anything. The judgment is sometimes we have probability.
Are you addressing the question I put to you now, or are you still?
I'm rounding off. No, these things are okay. very important, brother. No, yeah. Brother, please. They are very important because people are listening. So when you go to court, the civil case is normally under probability, and then you say the other one is beyond reasonable doubt, the criminal case. There's a reason why you also say that when something is happening in the court, it's morally wrong because it is morally wrong. When something is morally wrong, it is completely wrong. So we accept that there's a wrongness in killing somebody. That's reality that science cannot prove. So when we come about,
do you know?
no, I'm coming because I'm coming. When we come to concept of knowing, when we come to concept of knowing or throwing oxygen or this, these are all different things. We're talking about other things. Whether there is science is everything. Science is not everything. So when we come to social media or technology, that's also scientific evolution in the 20th to 21st century. That's what we are experiencing. And we are also in the era of AI. We've also seen the other aspect of AI. And everybody's talking about the ethical control that AI deserves to be ethically controlled. Because if we leave it that way, people are going to be hurt from the results from the AI. And we're seeing it happening everywhere. So technology, it all depends on how you use technology. Technology has got the good side, but also the bad side. If you look up to the bad side of technology, it can hurt you. But if you look at the good side of technology, you can focus on the good side, and also it's in a way affecting, not completely affecting, but in a way affecting how people perceive experiences in different types of experiences in the world, because somebody can just stand out there on the social media or using one technology to address a vulnerable public that have nothing to do with questioning and trying to find out what is actually happening. And I have never seen any time that when you go out there as a Christian, I've never seen any time that we are told not to ask questions. This implication, or subtly implying that they don't ask questions, is just that aspect of what I'm telling you about brainwashing. So you need to test the spirit you're following. And even if you believe in something, we cannot quarrel. You have the legal right to believe in whatever you want to believe. And because you believe what you want to believe, doesn't have to bring enmity or any type of disagreement between us. We just need to put love and unity inside our relationship, but not telling the other person that because you believe in this thing, what you believe is not existing. That would be utterly confusing. So if we look at science in its entirety, there are many things in life that cannot be observed, that cannot be measured, that cannot be tested, and that cannot be concluded from scientific perspective. And those why question and what should happen is also making it difficult for science and scientists and scientific oriented individuals to find the way or the perfect way to address some questions forwarded to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Onyemere. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Hello, moderator.
Yeah.
Moderator, I want to respond to Mr. Onyemere briefly. Mr. Galva said, sorry, but there are killings or unaliving because of social media, whatever, that are morally justified, like self-defense, state unaliving, war unaliving, and etc. And if even talking about unaliving, do you know even in the Bible, too many unaliving happen in the Bible that Christians still celebrate and justify. I have seen pastors, churches pray for their enemies to be unalive. They justify it biblically, quoting Bible and all of that. They even quote Jesus. So when you are talking about morality, and this is what I keep telling people, even when you're mentioning testing of the spirit, what spirit? And even when you are talking about why are we here on earth? Why are we truly here on earth? And you are saying science do not have that answer to that question. The question that the Christian has given, or maybe religion has given, the answer that religion has given to that question, if you review it so well, you discover that nobody have really experienced or seen the other part of life that has proven that, oh, I've gone there, I've seen it. Oh, if you are unalive, you go to hell or go to heaven. So it is all based on assumption. So it doesn't really hold water, sir. It doesn't hold water. And that's why I said, Christians, it is with due respect, because even when you talk about having respect for people's belief and all of that, Christianity never had respect to our belief. When they came to our country or our culture that will tell you your own is bad. Oh, this one is evil. This one is destroying your life. Pull it down. So Christianity has never had respect for our culture. So when we talk about these things and we call them the way they are, it is not like somebody hates anybody. It's just saying it the way it is. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you very much,
thank you so much,
Abraham.
brother. Just
Mary, can we just leave it at that? I'll get back to you.
okay,
Mr.
okay,
Nadi, I just want to ask you this.
no problem.
I've been a strong proponent of science, scientific discovery, and technology. Do you think that just data, facts, and data, those are the things that give meaning to life?
The tea. Well, thank you. Thanks for the question. And I think that question will cap some of the things that I've said here. Like I mentioned earlier on, I said that the scientists themselves have all, the cosmologists, almost of them accepted, all agree that we are only able to explore the 5% of the visible matters that is in existence. So that means there is a very broad and wider this thing that the science themselves are still not able to empirically prove. What I'm saying in all of these things, what I mean in that is that we cannot always just say that it's only data or whatever you mentioned before that can be translated into meaning. But what we can actually say, I think that is where the line is a bit intertwined. Because you don't have an explanation for something does not mean you just make up anything that is not what do I call it, verifiable. Just like what our brother have just mentioned, when we don't know the reasons why we are here in this world, because we don't know it, we just make up some things that are unfactual. Something that if somebody will ask you, prove these things that you are talking about. So what science actually is doing, what science is doing, is that even if we are able to explain even 1% of something, and we can prove it. Each time you come to us and ask us, you switch on your electric bulb. Then each time you switch it on, the light will come on. Otherwise, they will be able to explain to you why it didn't come on. That is what science is all about. Science is not about that we know it all. Like I've said, most of them have said this is what we are able to explore. But the difference between this, what do I call it, idealism, this idealism that religion or spiritualism or what do you call them are more swearing into, is that they assume that they know it all. They know how God created the world. They know exactly how the world was created. But the funny thing is that most of these things that they claim they know, when it's being tested with reality, it fails most of these tests. Just like I've given, just like the instances I gave you before, when people assume that God created heaven and earth, but like it's in the Bible. Sorry to say this, I'm not a humanist. I still believe there is God. I still believe that God created the world. I still believe, but I don't believe that he influences things that is going on in the world. So that is a bit different from what my brother Abraham positions on religion and all of that. I have my own sensitive gray areas of faith which I can accept and which I wouldn't accept. So, but the point I'm trying to explain in all of these things is this: science on its own have got limits. And when Mary mentioned about these limits, we are not saying, but what limits to science is something that they have not been able to explore the available evidence or available pattern for it to be factual. That if I give you an instance, just one instance before you leave. I mean, when you don't know something that you cannot prove these things. It's only when you can prove those things that you can say this is factual, this is a fact. If you cannot prove it, instead of just physically naming something just because you want to brand it. Not because you can prove those things. If somebody will repeat or question your fact finding of those things, if somebody will question it or somebody will challenge you on that, instead of you providing all those evidence or proving those things, you claim all of this concept. This is beyond human understanding. This is beyond human reasoning. But when you are claiming that it's beyond human reasoning, but you are actually making those things as if you understand it. So that is where the problem is. When our brother Onyemere is mentioning something that is a bit, I don't know how to use the word, but it's for the purpose of the argument. When you say test the spirit, in proper logic, how do you test spirit? Where is the spirit to test? How do we even investigate a spirit? Where is it? Or you just
It's something that testing it does not need it does not need a tester. It does not need you to. It is.
Just
so the point is that Mr. T, if it's a metaphorical concept, then accept. But if it's literal, the word spirit on its own means something that you cannot apprehend, you cannot hold it, you cannot touch it. You cannot, there is no way you can investigate things that you cannot see. Or is it just what do I call it? A construct in your mind. You just construct something in your mind, and that becomes that spirit. Because from my own personal view, I believe that spirit is not something that you can say spirit is in Enugu or spirit is in this place. Let's go and investigate it. Unless it's a metaphorical, it's just satirical kind of idea, not something that is factual. So, and the last point I was going to make, that science does not investigate all these things that Onyemere have just mentioned. It's not because they cannot investigate it, but because there is no pattern for them to investigate it. There is no way you can trace those things. So instead of, when you have seen there is no way you can trace certain things, instead of you to naming it something because you cannot trace it, you better off submit that this one, we don't have a way of tracing it. And that is what science is doing. Thank you. I'll leave it there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Abraham, I come to you, probably your last on this before we wrap it up.
No, you
Abraham,
beat Abraham. I think you beat Abraham. I think I can lend some voice here.
Abraham, are you there?
Abraham is gone. I think his talent is gone. Go to Onyemere.
Okay, I think, but I still see him here.
Yeah, he's still there, but he's frozen. He's...
Okay, Onyemere, my question to you is this now. Yeah, because when you're saying, we've said so many things about maybe when there's no way these are two different worlds. I want to believe that the world of the idealistic world and the world of realism are just two sides of a coin. One always they're trying to reinforce the other. So, but I want to ask you this. Okay, Abraham said I should add him back. Just 1 minute, guys. So I want to ask you now, Onyemere.
Yeah.
Does belief in God or spirituality require scientific validation?
Good question. I like this one.
No. Believing in God doesn't require any scientific validation, because God in itself is science. If you understand, every human being carries two bodies. One is spiritual body, one is physical body, and that's why the concept of that happens. And even when when our brother is saying, when brother is saying that when our brother is saying that if you don't, there are some things that the science does not have, this is because those things are superior to science. Science will never have answer to that. I still stand on my position. Science will never have answer to how many percent or the number or the quantity of love an individual has for the other person. Or when you say you love your mother, How many percent? Science cannot prove how much you love your mother. So this is just there. And I want to lend voice to what our brother is saying. The thing is, when we have justifications for things, we can see that even when you sleep, you don't even know. If you ask science now, why do we sleep? Science will start blabbing. No, I'm being
Science
honest.
knows why we
No,
sleep. I will
wait,
tell you.
wait. I'm coming.
Okay, I'm coming.
I'm coming. No interference. If you ask science, where are we at the state of sleep? Science might say it's stress. You need to rest. These are not connected. People, when you sleep, you are in the spirit world, and sometimes you have it. No, wait. You have a dream. The spirit is superior to humanity, and before science disrupted the world, every Christian, I will draw this conclusion that almost all the Christians are scientists, and the way the way things happen, we've lived this world before the disruption of science, and when science came in, science tried to change so many things. They found so many things which I acknowledged before, but like I said, I still maintain the question. There are more to life and reality that what science can prove. When you talk about fact, is it not fact that science cannot prove how much love somebody? It's a reality. We talk about values. We talk about the meaning of life. There are questions you ask, and most of the people who address this question are not informed. So when you carry it, when you push it to, if you don't have, we make assumption. Even science is also making assumption, and even the prediction they make is always open to debunking. And that's why you normally see somebody come up today and say this concept is outdated. That's science, that's human. But on the spirit side, you don't need validation. You don't need validation from science, because ask science, even with all the scientific evolutions, we are still sick. Why do we have to be sick? That sickness transcends human understanding, because we have all the necessary things there, but why do we still have to be sick if science is everything? We are sick because we are operating in two different realms, in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. When somebody dies, why do we accord that person all those risks? We could easily throw that person in the bin. We could easily put that person in the bag and throw it in the bin. It's because we are walking on a lot of things about spiritual things that we have to respect. And if you delve into some scientific, wait. If you delve, it's not about it. Just what if you delve into some scientific claims, they have valid claims. They also have invalid claims. I mentioned before, and every time our brothers are talking, you always see verifiable. But I mentioned some things that science cannot verify. Because science believes in quantification, science believes in measurement, science believes in testing. These things are nice, but there are things that are superior to science that science cannot test or explain. There are lots of them. So when we talk about the values, this joy, you mentioned about this joy, they skipped it. Somebody will say it's subject, but it's real. When you're happy, happiness, when you're happy, there are things you do that will tell you you're happy, but the quantity, the amount of happiness, the testing happiness is impossible for science. Science can only predict. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that science is, because every Christian is a scientist. And that is what some of our brothers have failed to understand in the aspect of serving God or worshiping God. They always take it out of the context saying that God doesn't exist. No, God is a spirit. And because God is a spirit, science, they call scientists empiricists, they call scientists naturalists. They believe in the world, they walk on the world, and what is spiritual is superior to scientists. Sometimes some of them, even though they are these scientists, of course we know that there are secret societies out there. And I have to tell you something now. Of course there are secret societies out there, and a lot of all these scientists still belong to secret societies. What are you doing in secret societies that you cannot, if you still believe that there is no Christianity, there's no God, there's no spirit, what are you still doing in secret society? Even though you're a scientist. So what are you doing there? I can tell you all the Freemasons in England, You see scientists there. So why are you joining Freemason? What do we call it religion? Confusion there because it's complete confusion. So you don't believe in Christianity. There's something like Christianity. Everything is an assumption, but then you still believe in secret society. That's a whole chaotic situation, you know. So what I'm saying here is that you don't need any validation from science to serve God or to know God. God is it's a personal experience. Some people have horrible experience, and because somebody has horrible experience, doesn't mean that the person will condemn any things about their belief. And people tend to, I want to address this also holistically. People tend to converge faith and culture to be. I was about it, and I'm going to write it on one platform. Faith and culture are entirely different things, but they converge. They merge at a certain point, but they're different. And why is it that in all these scientific evolutions, we haven't been able to prevent somebody dying? Isn't it a shame? There is somebody in control. Why are we still dying? You still put somebody. We still put somebody there. We still put somebody there for a long time. Still, he dies. It tells you that we are not in control. Whether you believe. I'm running off. I'm running off.
You do.
Whether you believe.
I think I need to respond to him.
No. Because if you respond, I want to respond also. Whether you believe that.
Can I go ahead?
Some things are made up.
Can you drop it now?
Yeah, I'm dropping it.
Because
whether you believe that some things are made up and unverifiable, is because scientists have not been able to verify a lot of things. They explain, but they don't answer the question why and what should be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oyemere. Abraham, I have a question for you, and then you can just maybe we're just exceeding our mark. I just have a question for you, and you can just briefly, make the rebuttal you want to do. As a humanist, as a one-time pastor, you've straddled the two sides. You've been in there, you've seen it there, and then you are now on the other side. You said that a humanist, a naturalist rather, you are a naturalist or humanist, also ascribe to scientific procedure. So what are the greatest strengths of science in helping us to understand and explain reality?
Okay, it's about raining here. I literally had to come out of my house, because it's raining. But let me say this. I have heard the other brother talking over and over and trying to prove to us how the spiritual control the physical, and it's so sorry to use this word. It's so comical because there's nothing like spirit. There's nothing like spirit. These are all human vocabularies that they create to capture events, capture issues, and to use to control people. And when you talk about what is the meaning of life, what is this and all of that, life itself is neutral. Whatever you make out of it is yours. When I hear people talk, when you talk about love and all of that, the word love actually doesn't even exist in any way. It's a vocabulary. Somebody called it love. I can call it anything. I can call it empathy. So for me, the Christian, and that's why these are the issues we talk about over and over. When the Christians crystallize, they know. Like for somebody to honor life, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Life is a cycle. You were born and you will die. So it is not scientific failure. And this is what I tell people. Some of the things that were questions like 200 years ago, through the help of science, we have answers today. People that lived like 200 years ago, if you wake them up to the reality we have today, like the AI, the science and technology, it will be wow for them. What many of them call spiritual or call supernatural is what we are enjoying today. In the next 200 years, most of us would have been gone. Some of our questions, that generation, we answer them. So for me, And when you talk about God, you ask yourself, who created the God? The answer will just be endless, or they, of course, just keep arguing here and there. So for me, this space, science has really made life so easy. And like my distinguished Nandi said, science has never come to a point where they said we know it all. Science is actually, and like we know, science is not like a person. So science is actually making life easy for humanity. If not for science, the so-called religion would have been fizzled out long ago. Because even when they brought Christianity to Africa, they also tried
your voice is breaking now. Your voice is breaking.
It's raining. He said that it's raining where he is.
It's raining here. Let me leave the floor for somebody else while I look for another position. It's raining. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Nadi, can you address what Zerubbabel Zadok said here?
Yeah, I think Zerubbabel asked one of the most important questions here. I think that question will even help me to answer some of the things that Elder Mary have rightly said. And it's important that we dive into that with facts, not just our...
You have 1 minute to dive in and dive out.
I'm coming, Mr. T. Let me ask Mr. T, sorry. The point is that when, I will say to Zerubbabel, 500 years from today, just like what our brother said, if people was going to be on the internet, just the way we are on the internet now, and Zerubbabel is in America, and you are in east of England, and I'm in west of England, and Onyemere is somewhere else in England, and we are having a conversation like this, it is only demons that can do that. It's spirit. It's a demon. I mean, if somebody in 500 years ago, if you will ever see a plane flying in the sky, it is a witch, because these are things that we think that it's only God that can be able to achieve. We think that without God, that human cannot achieve these things. Just like Onyemere is saying today. Just like
that's not what I said.
Allow me.
No, that's not my standpoint.
I'm coming.
I didn't say without God. That's not my standpoint.
Relax.
That's misleading.
I'm coming. I'm not misleading. I'll tell you what I mean.
No,
I'll take one instance from what you just said, so that it's not about what you didn't say. I will take instance from what you said yourself. You said that we have spirit, that is our spirit that leaves us when we sleep. And that is a lie.
No, that's not that's you see, that's not what I said.
I don't think there's a lie. There's a lie anywhere here.
I'm coming.
Sorry. I'm coming. That's a misnomer. Let me call it, that's a misnomer. What I said is that we operate in physical and spiritual realm in our body.
So when you sleep, what happens? When you sleep,
so you can doubt it. So
when you sleep, what happens when you sleep? Is it your spirit that goes out?
That's what I'm saying, that science cannot prove what happens, and science cannot prove why that is controlling our sleep.
No, 1 minute. I'm coming. This is where I said you need to read more. Because what you're just saying, go and read the REM sleep. Neuroscientists, what they're discovering on how...
You cannot read what you're reading.
No, I'm coming. You cannot read what I'm reading, but you don't just come in and approach what you have not verified. Because what happens in our sleep is what the neuroscientists have defined as the REM sleep. That is what they discovered what that is. Because your brain, if you're dead, the only way people can be pronounced dead is when their brain is dead. When you're sleeping, your brain is still functioning. And the activities of those brain is what you see when you sleep. It's not some spirit that is walking up and down. This is what we've been told.
No. I didn't say. You still
just allow me. Allow me, sir.
You don't misquote me.
I didn't say.
I've given you the time. I've given you the time before, but you didn't. You said the same thing.
I said that we operate as human beings. We operate when we sleep, physical and spiritual.
On your simple question, when we sleep,
that's where
is it our spirit that goes out, or is it our brain that's still continuing functioning?
No. Brain functioning is different from sleeping, even
So
if your
what-
brain is function. Oh, wait, even if your brain is functioning,
Yes.
that when you sleep, you're not in control. That's
So
what
your
I mean.
spirit goes. Your spirit
No.
goes.
It's not about spirit going. When
So what
when
is
you're
going?
when you're sleeping, you are not in control.
What do you
Simple.
mean? What do you mean you're not in control? Why? What?
You're not in control of yourself when you're sleeping. Do you want
Why
to
don't
argue
you?
it?
Should I ask you a
You want to
question?
argue it?
I can argue it. Why
No,
do what? What?
you are
Allow
not
me now.
controlled.
You are talking over me. You're asking me a question. Let me answer you.
Gentlemen, can we just
You are
tone
asking
it
me a
down?
question. Let me answer it.
Yeah,
Why
Mr.
do
Nadi,
this is
why
fact.
do kids
Mr.
pee on
Nadi,
their bed and you as an adult don't pee?
I told you to address Zerubbabel's comment. And you are
Onyemere interrupted me.
No, because you're
called
trying you're
Onyemere
misquoting me. You're
into
misquoting me,
your
and it's
speech.
misleading.
No, but when you misquote me, I didn't misquote you. I asked you the same thing. And you're repeating
I
the same
said
thing.
what you
Mr.
said,
Nadi,
and
can
I'm
you
not
just
misquoting
go
you.
straight and address
Okay.
Zerubbabel's,
Let me continue with what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to explain is not just about what science is actually doing. Is that is an open conversation. We can investigate things. The one that we don't know yesterday, we investigate it tomorrow, rather than just capping those things as if we have known it. That some spirit have defined those things, that this is what it actually is. When that is fallacy, when those things are not factual. So what I'm trying to explain in all of these things, and I can give you details like diseases and all of that. There are times that mental health situations were seen as somebody being caused by God or some demonic interference in human's brain. But today we know that certain situation in the brain is some defaults in our mental state or mental health, and this is what the whole world is dealing with at the moment. Just like what we call leprosy, like I mentioned the other day, we have.
Have you explained the issue of UFOs that Zerubbabel talked about?
Yes, that's
Oh
the
my
point.
God.
That's exactly what I'm trying to explain. I'm giving you indices on how to react to those things, because those things that he mentioned now is something that we investigate for the future. I'm giving instances from what we have investigated from the past, which is like leprosy. Leprosy, they used to think that when you're, according to the Bible, if you're a leper, you are caused by God, and it's only some spiritual and supernatural. But today, you can cure leprosy with just antibiotics, and I can categorically tell you there is no single leprosy patient in here in the UK because of this invention. Because of people keep learning all this pattern, and they keep building on these investigations and be able to profile a sustainable solution, not just some mythical or what do I call it, sentimental conversation just to make it look good.
Thank
We
you
don't.
very much.
Just one point. We don't know what is in the blind, so we call it Satan. We don't know what is in the other room. Instead of you to identify, we don't know it. Science will tell you we don't know what this is, rather than just naming it just to create some illusion that doesn't exist or hallucinate people to believe that you know it, but you don't know it. Because when you are asked to provide factual evidence or to provide empirical proof that these things, or even test it, you will then become to say you have to know it from the spirit. But spirits
Thank
are
you
not
very
factual.
much.
Thank you. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mary, can you just briefly speak to Florence Ordinaka? She said, if you actually understand the things of the spirit, you know how to test the spirit. So
No.
you could do that.
I think maybe we align in thinking, and as I said, some of
Just
this.
speak to that, then use it to round off your thought about it, so that we can bring this to a close today. As we've taken much, we've gone over our usual time.
Yeah, but that's we like I said, we're saying the same thing, because I was saying that the Bible commanded us to test the spirit, and I'm still saying that most Christians are scientists in themselves, and most Christians also align with the evolution of science. But there are far more to life and reality than what science can prove. And when we talk about fact and all of those things, we try to play around fact as if fact is not what is in front of us. And the reason why you have to test the spirit, is critically test the spirit. So Bible has every definition for everything in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So it all depends on whether you read it. You don't need a pastor to read for you. You can read the Bible for yourself. And if you have any question, you can go to somebody who is higher in knowledge to ask questions. You have the capacity to ask questions. So there's never been a time that we were like blindfolded and commanded not to ask questions, unlike what the narratives people are pushing out there. So when you saying that science is, I don't know, I took a stand, but even you guys haven't even taken a stand based on the question. The question is science about everything, or are there more things to life than science? And I have taken that stand that there are far more things than what science can prove in life. And the reason why science cannot prove it is because science doesn't know it or doesn't have an answer to it. And science will still be playing around, or scientists will still be playing around. It is clear. You can still go and verify. It is a reality that nobody can know how much somebody loves somebody. Somebody saying that love is something you imported. Of course, we know. By surrendering yourself, by making sacrifice, we know the actions. It is the actions we see. Actions of love is what we see, but we cannot measure it. We cannot test it. We cannot observe it because it is not a tangible thing to observe. Just like I also said about the moral wrongness in killing, even though that sometimes people can say self-defense, but we still have a little bit of that. It is what human beings made, and human beings didn't fall. Science said that human beings, that there's an evolution, but human beings didn't fall on planet. It's impossible for human beings to just fall on planet there, because if the argument of science is if the argument of science about evolution is it holds, it means that all of us in the world will become the same color and become the same thing. And to tell people that there's no leprosy patient to say that there's no leprosy patient in the UK, it's grossly misleading.
Thank you very much.
Wait. That's one thing. It's also like because
did you actually even check this thing, or you just
no, I'm coming now. I'm coming. Just let me say something.
If you can find one person in the UK that have got leprosy, then don't believe whatever I'm saying tomorrow.
Okay, can you just conclude now?
Mr. T. This is no. This is I like it. This is part of the discussion.
We can do that investigation outside here.
Post it on the comment box. Post it on the comment box.
No. I'm going to say something here. I'm going to say something here. If there is no okay, Sammy, just a direct a cross examination here, and there is no mad. There's also no mad.
We're not talking about madness. You see how
wait. We're talking about leprosy. You see, the religious people. Wait. We answer. This is a yes or no question.
Okay,
and there's also no madman in the UK.
There's mad people in the UK. Yes.
Okay, and there is no leprosy patient in the UK.
There is no leprosy.
Okay, which means science has a cure for leprosy all over the world.
Yes, you have it. If you cannot afford it,
come on.
If you cannot afford it,
thank you, gentlemen.
You pay for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can we just
Mr. T.
Yeah, can we just
let me round off. Just like these guys. I mean, it's quite comical to be saying these things. You know what I'm saying is here. Science cannot trump or disrupt what has been achieved in the world. A lot has been achieved, and science has also made a lot of discoveries. But science, there are more to life and reality than what science can prove or find. Science also has made a lot of important and essential discoveries. But that doesn't mean that everything in this life is about science. Everything about reality is about science. There are other realities. Apart from what I've mentioned, there are many of them that science cannot prove, because science have no answer and because they are superior to science. I say it again, when you're in deep sleep, you are not in control. You don't even know what is happening. When you are intoxicated because of alcohol, you are not in control. Something is controlling you. And I also said that as human beings, we operate in the realm of physical and spiritual. It's only when you understand. And we have the power. We have the power that is something rooted in us. We have the power to discover, and this power to discover is given to us by the divine. This science is not something that, like, it is something that has been given to us, because if you go back in the Old Testament days, when they were finding it difficult to find out some things, there was a command that this one, you give this one for the carpenter, you give this one for this. There's been this power to discover in humans. It's not just that science brought it like that. It's going to be like that. It's going to be, humans are going to be making a lot of discoveries. But here, as much as science has given us a lot of important discoveries, there are more to this life and reality that science cannot prove, and science have no answer for. And science doesn't answer the question of why. Science doesn't answer the question of what should be. And as much as we are respecting science, we also don't have to lose hope about what we believe in. What you believe is what you believe. If you don't believe in God, put love and respect and humanity and unity in the middle of relationship. That somebody doesn't believe in what you believe shouldn't bring any chaotic situation. We have to be honest to ourselves and build a better relationship while believing in what different things we believe. But at the same time, there are more to life and reality that what science can prove or find out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Oyemere. Thank you, Sam, for this robust session. It has been very, very robust, and I must really give it to you guys. Everything is left here on the floor of the studio. Thank you very much for our esteemed audience who've kept track with us and who've made their contributions. We want to also appreciate you for not just your time, but for your presence and for all the contributions you made in trying to make this a very, very robust session, a very robust talking point. This conversation will still continue, because even in the Bible, he said, "Ask, you shall be given; seek, you shall find; and knock, and the door shall be opened." These are just the openness to inquiries. And we will continue to have this conversation one way or the other in trying to bring knowledge and understanding to as many who may not have them. And just like I said, these are two sides of a coin: the realist and then the idealist. They are two sides of a coin, and they make the coin whole. What science cannot explain, spirituality and belief will explain. And then they continue to drive each other until, as we continue to improve on our conditions of living and everything that concerns humanity. I just want to thank you guys and thank all the people out there who have kept us company. Until we come your way again next Sunday, I just want to say thank you guys, and thank you for our audience who have kept vigil with us throughout this session. And until we come your way again, thank you, and do have a wonderful week ahead of you. Thank you, and for now, bye-bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Sammy, take care. Bye.
Hello, Sam.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, Oyemere. It's always good for us to bring this spicy like this.